Today we're testing my knowledge of floras and seeing how green this thumb can be, or maybe like in a little shop of horrors, these plants will get the best of me. Hello, I'm Josh, this is Josh Build Stuff, but today JBS can stand for Josh's Botany Show because we're talking about a couple of the newest sets from the LEGO Botanical Collection. We've got the LEGO Succulents and the LEGO Orchids. Both of these sets came out at the beginning of May in 2022. Both of these sets cost $50 and both of these sets are quite beautiful once built. I've spent a lot of time with my LEGO hobby lately and I thought it might be nice to pick up a hobby to take some time away from my hobby. So today we're going to do a little gardening. I went down to the nursery today to try to pick up some plants for this very video. Turns out the place was full of children, not a plant in sight. Luckily, some guy in the parking lot offered to sell me a bag of magic seeds, so I thought we'd plant that today and see what grows. Let me give you my initial opinions on this set. I actually really like these little plants. I love the entire botanical collection. I think they're fun because they are a little different from a lot of your typical LEGO sets. They don't have any minifigures. They appeal largely to non-LEGO fans. I think that's a great thing, but I think because of that, they're not really for everyone. Go. Gardening is a funny thing. I actually love a metaphor involving seeds and plants because it's a great example of how something so small can turn into something so large and beautiful if it's just nurtured and fed. A lot like an idea or a habit, like a LEGO habit, I would say, because if you feed that LEGO habit, well, it grows into something uncontrollable. Today, we're going to explore that habit a little bit while we do some gardening and talk about these lovely botanical collection sets. No one ever said gardening wasn't messy. I'm going to talk about these sets together because they are very similar to each other, at least in their build, and I have similar opinions on both of them. LEGO is all about promoting these sets as the perfect gift, right? And in the context of the build for these sets, I don't know that that's entirely true. One, you could give someone real orchids or succulents for much cheaper than either of these LEGO sets, and you don't have to build real orchids or succulents. Maybe that's fun, but I think if you're trying to introduce some novice, non-LEGO appreciating people and get them into the LEGO hobby or habit or addiction, as some may call it, well, you get them these sets. They're not the best starter sets, in my opinion. A lot of the build techniques are a little tedious, a little repetitive, a little tedious, and a little repetitive. That being said, those same build techniques are fantastically innovative, like the entire Technic makeup of the pot of the orchid, or the orchid flowers themselves with little shield pieces and forks being used to make those petals, and the little succulents also have nice build techniques. And hey, by the time you're done building these sets, that love of LEGO, well, it might have started to grow a little. Let's talk about these orchids first. They look beautiful, they look delicate, the build was a lot of fun. Are they worth $50? That's a little harder to say. Did you know that orchids also represent fertility? I learned that from LEGO's own promotional material for this set, where some old lady was like, buy orchids for your children if you want to hint at them having some grandchildren. I didn't watch it with sound, I don't actually know what she sounded like, but I want to be like, Mom, lay off. Not everyone wants to have kids, especially not in this economy. Not everyone wants kids in general. I got plenty of friends who have kids who don't want kids. They should probably just accept what they have. But what I'm saying is just lay off, Mom. Otherwise though, with the orchids, I have almost nothing but positive things to say about it. Not to stir the pot, but I don't like the loose dirt in the pot. I just like all of my LEGO pieces to be attached to my LEGO sets. Call me old-fashioned. But it's worth mentioning again, some very cool build techniques here. Little shields to represent petals being held together with LEGO forks, frogs on the fronts of the flowers, little Demogorgon heads for like the budding orchids. I love those details. As for these succulents, I think they're equally beautiful, they're equally cool, and I think it's another one of these sets that would be sitting on your shelf and friends would come over and they'd be like, whoa, that's LEGO, and you'd be like, yeah, that's LEGO. This collection of cacti just looks so neat all together like this, right? Each one a different color and little building techniques, slightly different shapes and sizes, overall very cool looking. But if I may use a very misogynistic metaphor, if you've seen the show How I Met Your Mother, you may be familiar with what Barney Stinson called the cheerleader effect. Basically, things look really good when they're a part of a group, but you pull any one of those women or plants apart separately and it doesn't look great on its own. That, I think, is an apt metaphor because some of these little cacti, well, they're just okay. They're small and like kind of cool, but like each of these on their own doesn't necessarily stand alone, but you get them all together, boy, these things look real nice. I've actually always loved succulents in theory. I've never been able to keep any alive in reality, which might say something about my ability to nurture a living being. Reminder, I have 2 human children. If you're looking for a fun succulent-based prank, here's one of my favorites. Sometime when you're in the office again, swap out one of your coworkers' salads with a big old bowl of succulents. It's sure to get a laugh every time. May also be the reason my coworkers called me a prickly pear as a nickname. Might also be the reason I don't work there anymore. You want my overall opinion on these sets? Honestly, they are unique. They are beautiful. They are so different from a lot of LEGO's collection that they should appeal to a larger audience. Not everything in LEGO is about, I don't know, Star Wars minifigures or whatnot. Some people, they just want to build something beautiful. And hey, maybe these sets are the perfect metaphor for LEGO being able to go in a different direction, right? It all starts with a seed of an idea that maybe LEGO can be unique or different, and that seed can grow into something truly beautiful. Or maybe that seed represents your LEGO habit in general, and you keep fueling that fire and adding water or monster energy to that seed. Well, eventually it grows into something unsustainable and untenable and, I don't know, a little irrational. So with that, I will say, enjoy whatever LEGO sets you enjoy. Personally, I enjoy these. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. I'll see you next time. Tangy. I should have cleaned this before I did that. Oh. I'm gonna go deal with this. Monster energy. It's got what plants crave. Got what I crave too.